Hi everybody, Kelvin here from London. I review stereo equipment. No one gives me equipment. I'm using my own equipment. I don't get any gifts or however it works when people send you equipment. So I'm going to tell you as much of the truth as I can about stereo equipment, which I've been messing around with a long time. What do we got here? This should be a humdinger. Yes, it's an expensive bit of kit. Accuphase preamplifier c-202 from 1987. So that's pretty old. Interesting things about this. Yes, this was designed or aimed particularly at the CD market. It has an awful lot of additional circuitry to make the signal path clearer. I don't know, its own power supplies, all kinds of shenanigans to make the CD player sound good. It has all these line inputs, no phono stage. Yeah, when I first looked at this, I thought, God, this great big thing weighs 11 kilograms, no phono stage. I was sort of like, kind of miffed, kind of felt conned. I haven't bought this, it belongs to a friend of mine, by the way. But this actually has a separate volume controls. This one for your ordinary line in, and then this one for the CD. That's how much to town they have gone on trying to make this really good for CD. And it has balanced CD inputs and balance outputs for your power amp. Now, let me tell you, I got this, I plugged it in. Initially, I thought, what is this? Is this one of these big, expensive, big box things that doesn't sound very good? Because it didn't sound very good, but there's a reason. It sounded very bassy, really bassy. And I just immediately got a bit down on it. Anyway, a few days later, I investigated a little bit further and I didn't know that was there. All these buttons, I didn't know they were there. There was a button on called, what are they calling it? Compensator. It's like loudness. A lot of loud. There's two versions of it. And one of those was on. So it had too much bass, just wrong amount of bass. So that's the first thing. Switch that off. Then I figured out that this was really dedicated to the CD, and the CD input has got all this different circuitry to make it clean pathed. There are no integrated circuits on the sound part of this amp. That's a big deal, I would say, because so often in the modern age, let's say as you get into the 90s or whatever, that's modern, it's modern to me, 90s, 2000, integrated circuits can flatten out sound. They can mess it up, Now, I compared this with a Lin Wakonda. I don't know if it's got integrated circuits in it, but I bet it has. And which is only like a £200-300 preamp. So it's a less expensive thing. God knows how much this would sell for, by the way. It's hard to get a price on it. If you look it up, you won't find much. But it's a lot. Accuphase is a very renowned, very revered make, and actually for good reason. So this could be 500, it could be 1,000, could be more. I couldn't tell you, but it ain't cheap. Let's say that. Okay. So you've got a dedicated CD input. Now, the ordinary line inputs compared to this CD is noticeably better. And again, that actually took me a little while to get round to that. And that was another leap again in sound quality. Let me tell you, I had this with a naim power amp, naim nap 100, It's a pretty neutral power amp, you know, it doesn't do anything particularly right or wrong. And I did use the Lin, and I also put through the Node, this streamer, yeah, because that has its own preamp, and I thought, well, I'm going to sort of compare and contrast that too. So that I was plugging straight in, not straight in, I was plugging that into the, oh yeah, sorry, I was plugging the Node straight in to the naim power amp instead of going through this preamp to see what sounded better. You know, do you need, I'm not going to use another preamp unless, you know, if I don't have to. So I'd see what that sounds like. So I had three things going on. Anyway, let's do the sound of this thing. It is real class. I gotta say that, you know, I'll say that from the top and we'll go to more detail, but it's a really class thing. And when I was listening to this and trying to think of what to say, I kept coming up with all these sort of slightly romantic or poetic analogies of like, I don't know, beautiful restaurants or luxury experiences. Do you know what I mean? I was a bit crazy, but I'll do it very properly. It's got a lot of low, grippy, grippy might not even be a good word, but good low bass detail. That's something that you kind of don't get often. And when I was listening to this, I was reminded of the really classy CD players I'd heard, mostly the Audio Research, which is a really expensive bit of kit, and maybe the Sony one, which was about £1,000 worth of kit. The Audio Research is £3,000, something like that, second hand. But I was getting that real detail in the bottom end, which is just a sign of really good quality, you know, just that getting hold of it and everything's in the right place, and it's, you know, this is just a sign of quality. It's a really good sign, you know. The middle, it's really basically a pretty sublime thing. It's a pretty sublime thing. I don't often become aware of what people talk about when they say it's silent, there's no noise, you know, it's velvet black background. Most times I just don't think of that. I'm really not sure why. Not something I'm just tuned into that much. I put this on and I'm going, oh yeah, that's what it's got. It's got that velvet and black. That's the best thing I can say. And the other thing, I put these analogies. It's like a luxury Sunday afternoon. It's romantic. It's plain sexy. It's sexy. It makes you feel good. This thing makes you feel good. Now, I'll do some songs, but I'll just have to keep talking. If I compare this to the Lin Wakonda preamp, what did I get here? The Lin. It's detailed, but everything's a little bit removed. It's not making my heart sing, but I can't really put my finger on what's wrong with it. It's not romantic. It's digital. It's microchippy. I can feel that sort of, it's not got the humanity. It's not got the love. That's the Lin. And the Lin has less bass. It doesn't have that low, luxurious bass that is, you know, just great. I mean, every sound on this has got a luster, you know, even on sort of not so good recordings. I was listening to the OJs from the 70s, and even a lot, I mean, it's not a bad recording, but you know, every little bit, there's a luxurious content to it. I'm not doing a very good job here, but I'll keep going. Other thing is, when you go loud, you know, this is what preamps are good for. They're controlling the way things go when they go loud. When you go loud on here, things don't get shouty. It irons out all those little issues. It's controlled, you know. That's the thing about high-end stuff, is you really feel like things are in control. And with cheaper stuff, things start sounding a bit out of control, a bit wayward, a bit rogue, you know. But as you turn it up here, you know, as much as I can with ordinary speakers, I can feel it's just controlling everything beautifully. Let me talk a little bit more about some songs, and this might help it. Stevie Ray Vaughan's Tin Pan Alley. What a great song. It's called The Roughest Place, that song. Fantastic recording. It's like it's recorded in a velvet room, but with extreme detail. Yeah, so you're getting all the detail. You just get, you know, you just kind of get into things better. Now, if I compared that to the Lynn, what did I put here? Detailed, but nothing to love, nothing to get into. The joy wasn't there with the Lynn. And if I use the streamer direct into the naim, I got more air. It was definitely a bit more digitally and a bit etched. So I'm using that word etched. I don't want to use the word edgy, because that would be too wrong, or harsh. That's too far. But etched, you know, sharp edged. This isn't sharp edged. This is really nice. It's just it's so luxurious. I don't know what to say to you. This also will remind you of analog. You know, it will make things sound more analog. It doesn't sound digitally. It sounds a bit like a really good turntable. Again, that's what you get on really nice CD players. But yeah, that is a quality. It's a kind of, you know, just a high-end quality. What else? I would say, yeah, I don't know what else to say apart from it's goddamn great. Here's the thing. Do I want it? Yeah, I always pose this question to myself, really, and I tell you guys, I do want it, but something in me is a problem child, and I don't want to pay whatever it is, because it'll be many hundreds of pounds. Maybe let's say it's £700 for the sake of it. Something in me doesn't want to spend 700 quid on a preamp, but I should, because it will change. It alters everything that goes through it. You know, I guess the reason I wouldn't have it actually is because it hasn't got a phono stage, but I do want it, and it is really good. Okay, that's it. I got a bit gushy about this thing, but it's really great. And you know, it's not like, it's just a class. It's a cut above everything else. And you know, if you're thinking, what do these things sound like? Why are they so expensive? There's a good reason. Lift everything that goes through it, and just iron out all problems. Just balances everything just right. Gives you a good bit of low bass. It's a luxury. It's a luxury experience. Okay, thanks. Bye for now.